Indonesia, an archipelago where ancient volcanoes watch over crystal clear seas. A land where millennia-old temples emerge from tropical forests, and rice terraces form hypnotizing patterns on the slopes of mountains. Life across its 17,000 islands pulses to the rhythm of traditions from hundreds of different peoples, united by an extraordinary culture. The same forces that created the feared Pacific Ring of Fire sculpted breathtaking landscapes, turquoise sulfur lakes to pink sand beaches. On this journey, we will unveil the secrets hidden on each island. From the depths of Raja Ampat's coral reefs to the summits of Java's smoking volcanoes. Far beyond Bali, we will reveal a country where every dawn brings the promise of a new discovery. Location. Indonesia stands out as the largest archipelago in the world, stretching over 3,100 miles along the equator between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. This vast country boasts an impressive characteristic. It is made up of more than 17,000 islands, of which 6,000 are inhabited, according to the 2024 data from the Indonesian Department of Geography. Strategically located between two continents, Asia and Oceania, Indonesia shares maritime borders with 7 countries: Malaysia and Singapore to the north, the Philippines to the northeast, Papua New Guinea to the east, East Timor to the south, and India, Andaman, and Nicobar Islands to the northwest. By land, it shares borders with only 3 nations: Malaysia on the island of Borneo, known as the Island of Orangutans, Papua New Guinea on the island of New Guinea, and East Timor on the island of Timor. The Indonesian territory is divided into 34 provinces, including 5 special territories. These provinces are spread across 5 main geographical regions: Sumatra, Java, Kalimantan, the Indonesian part of Borneo, Sulawesi, and Papua, each with unique characteristics that contribute to the country's extraordinary diversity. Speaking of geographical extremes, Indonesia's highest point is truly impressive. Puncak Jaya, also known as Karsten's Pyramid, reaches an altitude of 16,024 feet, and surprisingly has permanent snow despite being near the equator. The lowest point is at sea level, along the country's extensive coastlines. Indonesia is bordered by 3 main seas: the Java Sea, the Banda Sea, and the Arafura Sea, in addition to the Indian and Pacific Oceans. The country has several important rivers, with the Kapuas River in Borneo being the longest at 710 miles, followed by the Mahakam River at 609 miles. The country's climate is predominantly equatorial tropical, with high temperatures and humidity throughout the year. An interesting fact is that Indonesia does not experience the 4 traditional seasons, but instead has 2 well-defined seasons: the dry season, April to October, and the rainy season, November to March. Average temperatures fluctuate little throughout the year, remaining between 73.4 degrees Fahrenheit and 89.6 degrees Fahrenheit, according to the Indonesian Meteorology, Climatology, and Geophysics Agency. This unique location, situated in the Ring of Fire, a horseshoe-shaped area surrounding the Pacific Ocean, where most of the world's earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur, not only defines its geographical characteristics, but also directly influences its culture, economy, and way of life, making it one of the most fascinating and diverse nations on the planet. Major cities. In a historic decision that surprised the world, Indonesia is about to move its capital from Jakarta to Nusantara, a planned city being built in the heart of Borneo's tropical forest in the province of East Kalimantan. This dramatic move is not by chance. Jakarta, the current capital, is literally sinking at an alarming rate of 9.84 inches per year in some areas, according to data from the Bandung Institute of Technology in 2023. Jakarta, with its impressive 10.5 million inhabitants in the central region alone, and over 33 million in its metropolitan area according to the latest census of 2023, is currently one of the 10 largest capitals in the world by metropolitan area. What many don't know is that this megacity faces unique challenges. In addition to sinking, about 40% of the city is already below sea level. However, not all is problematic. Jakarta is a vibrant economic hub, contributing more than 16% of Indonesia's GDP, with a fascinating contrast between modern skyscrapers and historical Dutch colonial-era buildings. Surabaya, Indonesia's second-largest city, with a population of 3.1 million, holds an extraordinary history in its name, which comes from the words sura, shark, and baya, crocodile, referring to a local legend about an epic battle between these two animals. Known as the City of Heroes, due to its crucial role in Indonesia's independence struggle, Surabaya now stands as an important industrial center and seaport, handling over 3.8 million containers annually, according to data from the Indonesian Port Authority. As the new capital Nusantara takes shape, with the first phase set to be completed in 2024, the Indonesian government is investing around $32 billion in this ambitious project. The city is being built based on sustainable principles, promising to be a forest city, with 80% green areas and fully powered by renewable energy. The plan is to move about 1.5 million public employees and their families to the new capital by 2045, creating a modern city that represents Indonesia's future while preserving its natural heritage. These 3 cities represent different faces of Indonesia. Jakarta symbolizes the economic dynamism and environmental challenges of the present. Surabaya represents the country's rich history and industrial development, while Nusantara emerges as a symbol of the nation's future ambitions. Natural and architectural wonders. Indonesia is home to some of the most stunning natural wonders on the planet, starting with the spectacular Lake Toba on the island of Sumatra. This giant blue lake is not only the largest volcanic lake in the world, but also the result of the biggest volcanic eruption in the last 25 million years. Approximately 62 miles long and 18 miles wide, its depth reaches an impressive 1,600 feet. In its center lies the paradisiacal island of Samosir, the largest island within an island in the world, where traditional communities have preserved their ancestral culture for generations. Speaking of volcanoes, the country is home to some of the most active and famous on the planet. the legendary Krakatoa, whose 1883 eruption was heard 2,900 miles away and altered the global climate for 5 years, gave rise to its child, Anak Krakatoa. In December 2018, this volcano erupted violently, triggering an underwater landslide that caused a devastating tsunami, hitting the coasts of Sumatra and Java and claiming hundreds of lives. The eruption was so intense that the volcano lost 2/3 of its original height, shrinking from 1,100 feet to just 360 feet. Despite this, Anak Krakatoa remains active, having recorded smaller eruptions in 2019 and 2020, constantly reminding us of the unpredictable power of nature. Mount Bromo, standing at 7,645 feet, offers one of the most surreal landscapes on the planet, with its smoking crater surrounded by a vast sea of sand spanning 6.21 miles in diameter. Meanwhile, Mount Merapi, considered the most active volcano in Indonesia, has recorded nearly 100 eruptions since 1548, causing its pyroclastic clouds to reach temperatures as high as 1,504 degrees Fahrenheit. Another volcano worth mentioning is Kelimutu, famous for its 3 crater lakes that change color due to chemical reactions. Located on the island of Flores, it is one of the country's most intriguing and mystical places, surrounded by local legends. Its stunning landscapes attract adventurers and photographers from around the world. In the heart of Java stands the majestic Borobudur Temple, the largest Buddhist temple in the world. Built in the 8th century with over 2 million stone blocks, this monument features 72 bell-shaped stupas, each containing a statue of Buddha. A fascinating fact is that the temple was constructed without using any mortar or cement, relying solely on a precise interlocking system of stones. Its 9 ascending levels symbolize the Buddhist journey toward enlightenment, and its 2,672 relief panels tell ancient stories that still captivate visitors today. In contrast to the ancient Borobudur, the modern Garuda Wisnu Kencana statue in Bali stands out as one of the largest statues in the world, towering at an impressive 397 feet, about 82 feet taller than the Statue of Liberty. Built over 28 years and inaugurated in 2018, this engineering masterpiece is made of copper and bronze, weighing more than 6,600 pounds, and was designed to withstand earthquakes and strong winds. Deep within the Ijen volcano lies a unique spectacle: the world's largest acidic lake, with its turquoise waters reaching a pH of 0.5, comparable to car battery acid, demonstrating the corrosive power of the lake. At night, an even more extraordinary phenomenon occurs. Blue flames up to 16 feet high dance on the surface due to the combustion of sulfur, creating a natural light show that seems supernatural. Komodo National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1991, is the only place on Earth where we can find the legendary Komodo dragon in its natural habitat. These impressive reptiles can grow up to 9.84 feet in length and weigh 154 pounds, making them the largest lizards on the planet. With highly developed senses, they can detect prey from miles away. Their saliva contains deadly bacteria that help digest their prey, and their powerful bite can cause severe injuries. Raja Ampat, an archipelago of 1,500 islands in West Papua province, is home to the most diverse marine ecosystem on Earth. Recent studies have identified more than 1,400 species of fish and 75% of the world's known coral species in this region. The crystal-clear waters of this underwater paradise are so rich in marine life that scientists believe it is the birthplace of Indo-Pacific marine biodiversity, with ocean currents spreading marine life throughout the ocean. The famous rice terraces of Tegalalang in Bali and the even more impressive spiderweb terraces on the island of Flores demonstrate how traditional agriculture can create true works of art in the landscape. These structures, some over 2,000 years old, are maintained using the Subac system, an ancient irrigation technique recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage. Water flows through a complex system of canals, creating not only productive fields, but also one of the most stunning sceneries in Southeast Asia. Among the most spectacular temples is Uluwatu Temple, built in the 11th century, atop a 229-foot cliff overlooking the Indian Ocean. At sunset, the temple offers a unique spectacle. The traditional Kechak dance, where 100 dancers perform against the setting sun with their voices echoing through the cliffs. The mystical Tena Lot Temple, which seems to float over the sea during high tide, was built in the 16th century on a rock formation shaped by millennia of waves. According to legend, a source of fresh water miraculously springs from the salty sea at the temple's foot, revered by the Balinese. In the highlands of Tanah Toraja in Sulawesi, the statue of Jesus Christ stands majestically at 131 feet tall, blessing the landscape and the local community. This imposing religious figure watches over the traditional tongkonan houses, true architectural works of art. Built without a single nail, these boat-shaped roof houses are a testament to the skill and wisdom of the Toraja ancestors. Every detail, every curve, every ornament tells a story, preserving the rich cultural heritage of this people. The modern Suramadu Bridge, stretching 3.36 miles, is the longest in Indonesia, connecting Java to Madura. Its twin towers, standing 459 feet tall, are illuminated at night by hundreds of colorful LEDs, creating a visual spectacle reflected in the sea. This groundbreaking project has reduced travel time between the islands from 45 minutes by ferry to just 5 minutes by car, transforming the lives of thousands of people. This land of contrast continues to surprise with its pristine beaches, such as Kelingking Beach in Nusa Penida, known as T-Rex Beach, due to the unique shape of its 656-foot cliff. Its crystal-clear waters offer great visibility for diving and snorkeling. On the remote Padar Island, a unique phenomenon occurs where 3 bays exhibit distinct colors: black due to volcanic sediments, white thanks to pulverized coral, and pink from the presence of special microorganisms, creating one of the most extraordinary views in the Indonesian archipelago. The majestic Al Akbar Mosque in Surabaya, with its elegant minaret and 88-foot diameter dome, is the second largest mosque in Indonesia. Its architecture combines traditional Islamic elements with modern touches, accommodating up to 35,000 worshippers in its 247,500 square foot area. On the paradise island of Nusa Penida, in addition to the famous Kelingking Beach, there are other natural wonders, such as Angel's Billabong, a natural pool of crystal-clear waters surrounded by rock formations sculpted by the sea. Nearby, Broken Beach forms a giant natural arch over the ocean, creating a unique landscape that seems straight out of a dream. Gili Kapal, a small strip of white sand emerging from the turquoise waters on the east coast of Lombok, offers a unique experience. During high tide, the island virtually disappears, leaving only a sandbank visible in the middle of the sea. The impressive Koban Sewu waterfall, standing 393 feet tall, creates a curtain of water that splits into dozens of smaller falls. During the rainy season, its flow increases dramatically, creating a natural spectacle that echoes for miles. The tranquil Kayana Beach in Lombok reveals a unique natural spectacle where ivory-colored sands meet crystal-clear waters, allowing you to see schools of colorful fish swimming near the shore. Centuries-old coconut trees lean over the waters, casting dancing shadows on the sand, while local fishermen keep the ancient tradition of artisanal fishing alive. This connection between water and culture is even more vibrant in the famous floating markets of Banjarmasin, known as the Venice of the East. At dawn, dozens of colorful boats turn the canals into floating commercial corridors. Vendors in their traditional vessels, some passed down through generations, offer everything from exotic tropical fruits to freshly prepared local dishes, creating a symphony of colors, aromas, and flavors that float above the waters. In the heart of the island, the village of Sembilan reveals itself as a living picture at the foot of the majestic Mount Rinjani. Known as the Rainbow Valley, the village is embraced by plantations that cover the slopes in a mosaic of vibrant colors. Emerald green rice fields blend with strawberry, carrot, and onion plantations, creating a natural geometric pattern that changes color with the seasons. In the heart of Jakarta, the monumental Monas rises as a beacon of Indonesian independence. Its 433-foot height is crowned by a golden flame covered in pure gold, shining as a symbol of freedom and hope. At sunset, the last rays of the sun turn the flame into a golden spectacle that lights up the heart of the capital. Indonesia's modernity is reflected in the impressive Central Java Power Plant, one of the largest thermal power plants in Southeast Asia, with enough capacity to light up thousands of homes. Meanwhile, in the coastal waters of Sulawesi and Java, a blue revolution is quietly unfolding. Indonesia's shrimp farming industry has transformed into a global powerhouse, producing more than 881,850,000 pounds annually through sustainable techniques that combine traditional knowledge with modern technology. Indonesia's natural wonders continue to amaze with unique phenomena that seem to defy reality itself. Kawah Putih, a volcanic crater in Bandung, presents a mesmerizing spectacle with its waters that range from neon green to bright turquoise. This volcanic lake, formed after an eruption in the 8th century, owes its extraordinary colors to the high concentration of minerals and sulfur dissolved in its waters. To observe this natural phenomenon up close, an observation platform was built at the edge of the lake, providing a stunning yet challenging view. The structure juts out over the lake's acidic waters, where sulfur vapors create a mysterious atmosphere while warning of the latent danger of this natural wonder. Surrounded by whitish, rocky slopes that contrast dramatically with the sky, the location creates an almost extraterrestrial atmosphere that attracts visitors from around the world, eager to face nature in its most primal and powerful form. Between the paradisiacal islands of Nusa Lembongan and Nusa Keningan, the iconic Yellow Bridge stands out as a symbol of connection and adventure. This suspension bridge, painted in a vibrant shade of yellow, is the only link between the two islands, offering a spectacular crossing over turquoise clear waters. At just 459 feet in length and allowing only pedestrians and motorcycles, the bridge has become not only an essential route for locals, but also a famous tourist spot where visitors stop to photograph the stunning view of the ocean and the mangroves extending below. At sunset, when the sun sets on the horizon, the yellow structure takes on golden hues, creating one of the most photographed postcards of Bali. Hidden in the Bangai region of central Sulawesi, Piala Waterfall emerges as a natural treasure still little explored. Its crystal-clear waters cascade through successive drops among moss-covered rock formations, creating a spectacle of light and sound in the tropical forest. The deep blue of the waters contrasts with the lush green vegetation surrounding it, forming a natural sanctuary where the only sound is the whisper of falling water and the songs of exotic birds that inhabit the area. This hidden gem offers visitors not only a serene escape from the modern world, but also a glimpse of Indonesia in its purest and most preserved state. Each of these wonders tells a part of Indonesia's story, a country where nature and human creativity come together to create some of the most extraordinary places on the planet. From ancient engineering to modern marvels, from natural phenomena to cultural creations, Indonesia continues to enchant and surprise visitors from all over the world with its incomparable diversity of natural and architectural treasures. History. Indonesia's history is a rich tapestry of ancient civilizations, powerful empires, and diverse cultural influences. The first inhabitants arrived over 70,000 years ago, during the last ice age, when the lower sea levels allowed crossings between the islands. A surprising discovery in 2004 revealed the Hobbit of Flores, an ancient human species that lived on the island of Flores until about 50,000 years ago. Around the 7th century, the powerful maritime empire of Srivijaya emerged in Sumatra, dominating the trade routes of the Strait of Malacca and spreading Buddhist influence across the region. The Majapahit Empire, which arose in the 13th century in Java, marked the golden age of ancient Indonesia. At its peak, under the rule of King Hayam Wuruk, this powerful empire not only expanded throughout the archipelago, but established an impressive trade network reaching China. One of its most notable legacies was the creation of the terraced irrigation farming system, known as Tanah Sawah. This innovative technique forever transformed agriculture in the archipelago. The arrival of Muslim traders gradually transformed the region. By the 15th century, powerful sultanates had established themselves throughout the archipelago, with Islam becoming the predominant religion, though maintaining a unique harmony with previous traditions. The colonial era began with the Portuguese in 1511, but it was the Dutch, through the Dutch East India Company, who dominated the archipelago for over 3 centuries. During World War II, the Japanese occupation from 1942 to 1945, though brutal, strengthened the Indonesian nationalist movement. On August 17, 1945, Sukarno and Muhammad Hatta proclaimed independence, followed by a 4-year revolution until the Dutch recognition in 1949. Sukarno's government, from 1945 to 1967, was succeeded by Suharto's regime, whose New Order lasted 32 years until its fall in 1998 during the Asian financial crisis. The Reformasi era marked a crucial turning point in Indonesia's history, driving the country's democratization. In 2004, the country held its first direct presidential election. And in 2014, Joko Widodo became the first president without traditional elite origins. Today, Indonesia emerges as a regional power and the largest economy in Southeast Asia, facing the ambitious project of moving its capital from Jakarta to Nusantara. Its history continues to shape modern Indonesia, where millennia-old traditions coexist harmoniously with modernity, creating one of the planet's most diverse and dynamic cultures. Population. Indonesia is a population giant, ranking 4th among the most populous countries in the world. According to official data from 2024, the country is home to an impressive 278.7 million inhabitants, a population larger than that of all Western Europe combined. What is most fascinating is how this crowd is unevenly distributed across the more than 17,000 islands of the archipelago. The population density tells an intriguing story. While Java, with only 7% of the national territory, is home to nearly 150 million people and a population density of 2,849 inhabitants per square mile. Papua, in the Far East, boasts vast areas with fewer than 26 inhabitants per square mile. The Indonesian people form an extraordinary cultural mosaic made up of more than 300 distinct ethnic groups, each with its own traditions, customs, and cultural expressions. The Javanese are the largest ethnic group, representing 40% of the population, followed by the Sundanese at 15%. Family values and respect for elders are fundamental pillars of Indonesian society. The concept of gotong royong, representing community work and mutual assistance, is deeply rooted in local culture. Bahasa Indonesia was adopted as the official language in 1945 and serves as a lingua franca that unites this diverse nation. Interestingly, this language is an evolution of Old Malay and was strategically chosen because it is not the native language of any majority ethnic group, thus avoiding cultural favoritism. In addition to the official language, there are more than 700 active local languages across the archipelago. In terms of religion, Indonesia has a unique characteristic. It is the country with the largest Muslim population in the world, with 87% of its inhabitants following Islam. However, the country is not an Islamic state and officially recognizes 6 religions: Islam, Protestantism, Catholicism, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. In Bali, for example, Hinduism is predominant, while in Papua, Christianity is the majority religion. Regarding security, Indonesia has relatively low crime rates for a developing country with a high population. The homicide rate is 0.4 per 100,000 inhabitants, according to 2023 UN data, significantly lower than the global average of 6.1 and one of the lowest in Southeast Asia. The birth rate has been declining in recent decades, reflecting the modernization of society and successful family planning policies. The average number of children per woman is currently 2.1, exactly at the replacement level. This dynamic demographic shapes a young and vibrant nation where tradition and modernity constantly intertwine. With an average age of 29.7 years, Indonesia's population represents a significant workforce and a growing consumer market, positioning the country as an emerging power on the global stage. Government and economy. The current president is Joko Widodo, popularly known as Jokowi, who has been governing the country since 2014 and is in his second term, which will end in 2024. What stands out in his history is that he is the first Indonesian president without a military background or ties to the old political elites, having started his career as a furniture businessman. Economically, Indonesia impresses as the largest economy in Southeast Asia. In 2022, its GDP reached $1.31 trillion, placing the country in 16th position among the world's largest economies. To put it in perspective, this means Indonesia's economy is larger than that of countries like Portugal and Saudi Arabia. GDP per capita is around $4,700, revealing significant regional contrasts. While Jakarta presents indicators comparable to middle-high income countries, several regions in the east of the country still face significant development challenges. Indonesia's economy demonstrates its strength across various sectors. The services sector represents 44% of total production, followed by industry at 39% and agriculture at 17%. It is worth highlighting that the country leads the world in palm oil production and holds the second position in coal exports. In the 2023 Index of Economic Freedom, Indonesia ranked 53rd out of 184 countries, classified as moderately free. The country's tax burden remains moderate by international standards, representing 10.5% of GDP, considerably lower than the average of developed countries. The cost of living in Indonesia's major cities is surprisingly low. In Jakarta, daily expenses are about 60% lower than in New York, According to Numbeo data from 2024, a meal in a popular restaurant costs on average $3, while the rent for a one-bedroom apartment in the city center is around $400. The Indonesian job market is undergoing significant transformations. The current unemployment rate stands at 5.7%, but the country faces the challenge of informal employment, which accounts for about 60% of the workforce. In contrast, the tech sector is growing rapidly, making Jakarta one of the leading startup hubs in Southeast Asia. The Human Development Index, HDI, was 0.705 in 2023, placing the country in the medium human development category. Notable advancements have been made in the past 2 decades, with life expectancy increasing by 5 years and a significant rise in the average years of schooling. The country is preparing for a promising future, with grand projects such as the construction of a new capital and significant investments in infrastructure, marking a new phase of development for this constantly evolving nation. Cuisine. Indonesian cuisine is a festival of aromas and flavors that tells the story of thousands of years of cultural influences through its dishes. From the busy streets of Jakarta to the traditional markets of Bali, the unmistakable aroma of nasi goreng fills the air. This fried rice, considered the national dish, gets its distinctive flavor from the combination of sweet soy sauce, kecap manis, with local spices cooked in sizzling woks that seal each grain with a special smoky flavor. From the island of Java comes tempe orek, a delicacy that showcases Indonesian culinary ingenuity. Made from fermented soybeans, tempeh is sliced and stir-fried with an aromatic mix of palm sugar, garlic, and spices, creating a protein-rich dish that has nourished the local population for centuries. Satay, skewers of marinated meat grilled over charcoal, exude an irresistible aroma on the streets of Indonesian cities. The secret marinade blends turmeric, coriander, and other spices. But the real highlight is the creamy peanut sauce that accompanies it, a recipe passed down through generations. No Indonesian meal is complete without sambal, a chili paste that goes far beyond just seasoning. Each region has its own version, some mixing dried shrimp, others adding green mango, creating a true geography of flavor across the archipelago. Beef rendang represents the complexity of Indonesian cuisine. This slow-cooked meat stew simmers in coconut milk and a blend of spices until the liquid evaporates completely, leaving the meat coated in a crust of concentrated seasonings. In an online survey conducted by CNN International, rendang was ranked among the 50 most delicious foods in the world, with many considering it the tastiest. Mie goreng showcases the Indonesian flair for fried noodles. Prepared with fresh noodles and a mix of crunchy vegetables, bean sprouts, and your choice of protein, the dish comes alive with a touch of kecap manis and a pinch of chili. From the streets of Semarang comes lumpia, spring rolls with Chinese influence that have taken on local characteristics. Its filling, which can include meat, vegetables, seafood, eggs, and other varieties, is seasoned with Indonesian spices, creating a perfect fusion of cultures in each crispy bite. Perkedel jagung shows how Indonesians turn simple ingredients into bursts of flavor. These corn fritters, flavored with green onions, garlic, and chili, are fried until golden, creating an irresistible snack that represents the archipelago's home-cooked food. Finishing with sweetness, tapai madu surprises with its complex flavor. Made from fermented cassava with honey, this traditional dessert demonstrates how Indonesians have mastered the art of fermentation to create surprising flavors. Each dish tells a story of tradition, creativity, and the extraordinary ability of Indonesians to transform local ingredients into one of the most fascinating cuisines in the world. Now let me ask you, are you impressed by the wonders of Indonesia? This is just the beginning of our journey around the world. Don't miss any of our upcoming adventures. Subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell. With every documentary, we bring a new, surprising destination straight to your screen. Share this video with your friends and leave in the comments which aspect of Indonesia caught your attention the most. And remember, on the Mundo Real channel, we don't just show the world, we bring it to you. See you on the next trip.